Hello, and welcome back to Hunter Tuned. Sucks, but I actually filmed like quite a good video yesterday, and I went to go edit it last night, and that's why I posted for the first time on that community tab or whatever on YouTube here that I was going to just post a ramble video of kind of explaining what I did in the last video, considering all the footage that I took yesterday all day. Didn't have any audio because my GoPro, I actually switched to a GoPro Hero 5 and actually am using an external microphone. So the external microphone should have a little better audio quality, but what I did not know is the GoPro has like some glitch or bug in the software or in the device itself where when you hit the power on button to start recording with the GoPro, like there's just a power button on the top, and that's usually how I always start recording and stop recording. I just hit the power button and then the camera turns on and then go about my filming, and then I shut it off and then I click it back on when I, start up again. And that's how it always works. And I tested this external microphone yesterday, hit power, went inside, checked out the footage, audio was working and everything like that, and everything was doing fine. So I filmed after that the rest of the day. And what I didn't know is when the bug is where you hit the power button, the microphone will work for the first time you do that, and then you do it a second time or any time after that, and then the external microphone is no longer recognized by the GoPro. So it has a zero, zitch, zada, no audio. So that is unfortunate, but hopefully I do have the issue to work around it now. What I have to do now is I pretty much have to turn the GoPro on with the microphone unplugged and then plug the microphone in and then hit record on the top. So it's kind of a pain in the ass, but it could be worse, I suppose. This is kind of a budget camera, budget vlogging setup, so I'm not complaining too much, and hopefully the audio quality is worth the workaround issue that I'm having. But anyways, enough babbling. I'm going to go over kind of some of the stuff that I did yesterday. So I rebuilt the transmission. I got it completely assembled. I assembled the input shaft up on the bench up here, and I put it inside my clutch. With the pressure plate, I actually used this thing as a stand, so to hold the input shaft. It actually worked really good. And if you guys are interested in learning about how to put an input shaft together, you can either watch the disassembly video of all this transmission stuff, or you can watch a couple other my transmission videos. I've actually kind of went through on some other videos of how to assemble the input shaft and counter shafts and how to close the case and how to do all that kind of stuff. But I got the transmission over here now. So this is my GSR transmission. It now has carbon lined synchros from Synchrotech Transmissions, and it also has the Speed Factory heavy duty detent springs, which go they push the chuck ball onto the shift forks, which gives the transmission a better shifter feel. So I got the springs in, and then I got the transmission all back together, cleaned completely out. I cleaned the shit out of this thing before I put it together, so hopefully it'll work good and shift like butter. I also got a crank over here. This is the crank out of the B20 that I cracked all the sleeves on, which I think is bad. I'm not 100% sure. And then I got a whole bunch of other parts from my Vato homie Chris. I used to work with him over at my last job before this one. I worked with him, and he's helped me out a bunch with getting Honda parts, and if I need some little small things or whatever, he usually had the extra parts laying around and kind of either gave them to me for free or a really good deal. So I can't thank Chris enough. He actually helped me get the CRX together. He's helped me get the hatch together a few different times with transmissions breaking or whatever. There's not a whole lot of cool guys out there like that can kind of just help me out. All right, I should say there's not a lot of Honda parts out there, and he's cool enough to let me, buy the parts from him, knowing they're, whatever. But thanks again, Chris, for hooking me up. I actually picked up the crank that was out of this motor. This is the GSR motor. I actually picked this thing up from the machine shop the other day, and I got the surface decked, and I got the crankshaft over here from Chris. This is actually the crank that was out of this exact block. So I'm going to be putting that crank into this block with these rods and pistons. So these rods were also, I actually gave Chris these rods, and I gave Chris that crank over there because he was going to use a different setup with these rods and that crank, but ended up not using any of it. So he ended up just giving them back to me. But these rods are GSR Eagle rods, and then that crank is obviously a GSR crank, and the block is a GSR block, so everything's happy, GSR, go lucky. And then these are CP forged pistons that I'm going to be running. These are actually used 81 millimeter forged pistons that were out of the red Integra that I built. If you guys haven't checked out those videos, the red Integra, the one that gave me all the problems with the VTEC solenoid and the clacking and clinging in the cylinder head, that car was a fucking headache like no other. And these are the pistons that were out of the old motor that came out of that car. This guy had somebody build him this motor, and it ended up cracking a sleeve, just like what I've been doing on a lot of my cars. They keep cracking sleeves and whatever, so he went to a CSS block and different pistons and stuff. So these are the old pistons that were out of his car. They're a little bit beat up. I had to clean them up with the wire wheel. I cleaned them up as best as I could, but there's like a little nick in here from, you know, spark plug that was dancing around. A couple of these have nicks in them, actually, from something happening. I don't know exactly what, if that's like spark plug hitting the top of each piston. It looks like it, actually. And I think on maybe one of the ringlands was a little bit like scratched up. It wasn't nothing crazy, but the one that cracked a sleeve had a little bit of wear in the piston. If I can find it, there it is. So this one has like a little bit of wear in it. Nothing too crazy. I actually talked to my machinist, guy that does all my machining, and he said that he would run that piston all day long. So I'm gonna run it all day long too, considering the rods, the crank, the block. The block was out of the blue hatch that we built last year, like right around this time. That block was out of that car that had issues with the cylinder, because whoever put this motor together before it came to Hunter Tuned actually did not put the circlip in one of the wrist pins, and the wrist pin backed out on this cylinder right here. So I'm giving this cylinder a good hone. I'm going to hone it as much as I can to try to smooth that little spot out. It's still going to be there, but I'm just going to send it and see if it works, considering, like I said, I'm going to have pretty much no money into this. This block is like totally ready to go. I had it machined, like I said, flatten the surface. I have a cylinder hone. I'm going to hone the cylinders. And then I have, the only thing that is missing from this block is the oil filter stud right here, which I can probably get one off of another block. I'm not exactly sure, but and it's missing a main bolt. So the main bolt on the girdle side, so on the bottom there's a main girdle, and there's 6 bolts that hold the main girdle on, and I only have 5 of them, because I don't know what the hell I did with the 6th one. I don't know if I took it out for testing on something. I think I did, and I don't know where I put it. So I'm missing a main bolt, and I ordered a GE Pro Seal head gasket for my B20 VTEC, but now that we're running a GSR, the B20 VTEC head gasket is 84 millimeter, where this GSR is an 81 millimeter. JE Pro Seal doesn't make an 81 millimeter gasket. Everybody says you should just run the 81.5. It's the closest thing. You should have overhang on the gasket, because it helps with something. I have no idea what, which I don't buy. I think you should match a gasket to the bore personally. So I actually have 2 subscribers that are being awesome to me, and one of them is sending me an OEM head gasket, and one of them is sending me a main girdle bolt. So I can't thank you guys enough for helping me try to get this project rolling and get it underway. So I hopefully in the next couple days we can get the motor, start assembling the motor, but we can do a couple little prep things to get it rolling so far. But transmission is ready to go. I'm just going to run the 6-puck competition clutch that I was running. I actually was running a 4-puck, but the 4-puck is already completely worn out, like after not even that long a use. And the 6-puck was in there for a long time before that, and that one still looks good. So I'm going to run the 6-puck. Hopefully the thing shifts all right with 6-puck disc, but still going to run my same turbo and manifold and everything like that. The eBay manifold's holding up super good. Yeah, I'm stoked about this fucking manifold, guys. They don't even sell this manifold anymore, I don't think. This is like a $330 top mount manifold that is cast steel. It's not stainless steel, so the runners are thicker than a lot of the other manifolds out there, because it's cast steel. It's not stainless steel, so it does, you know, it has the chance of rusting and stuff like that, but it's a very thick wall manifold. None of the welds have cracked. I've had this manifold on the car pretty much ever since I've had a B-Series in it. I've had that exact manifold in the car, and I've had 0 issues with it. So I'm super excited that that manifold's still holding up. The turbo, obviously, from VS Racing has never given me any issues. It's still good to go, so I'm just going to throw that back in, and then I'm going to reuse the ARP head studs that came out of the B20 VTEC. I'm just going to run them. I'll probably have to pull the dowel, or not the dowel, but the blocking Allen head on the cylinder head. I actually just got this cylinder head back from the machine shop too, because I got it resurfaced. So there's a little Allen head on the bottom of the cylinder head that I'm going to have to pull out, because this cylinder head was actually set up for an LS VTEC, which I could still run it like that and just run the oil line up. But since this is a GSR block, it actually has an oiling hole already for VTEC. So we could delete that plug and delete the frickin' line coming from the oil filter to run the, you know, the VTEC system normal. It doesn't have to be ran with the external line like LS VTEC. If it's a GSR B16 bottom end, you can just run them, you know, no plug, no line going to the head or anything like that, and they work. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I might run the line. I might not run the line. I've actually heard some people saying that I think they work better with the external oil line, but I'm not 100% sure on that stuff. But yeah, I don't know what else I've been doing. I've been working a little bit lately, and I've got that part-time job that I've been telling you guys about, and I've been doing RC stuff a little bit here and there. I'd like to get into more of that stuff on the channel. As long as I can get this camera, microphone, all that kind of stuff working good, I don't see an issue with that. I think it'd be a good thing for us to do. I'm obviously going to make another video after this, doing some engine stuff and doing some other happy shit. But I've been taking it easy lately, because I actually had to go to the hospital a few weeks ago. Not a few weeks ago. It was like last week or something. I was in the emergency room actually, because I was having like chest pain, and I don't know. It's been a rough couple of weeks. Let me just tell you. So I've been I was in the hospital, and I had fucking chest pain because of anxiety supposedly, but it was like, I don't know, it felt like heart attack kind of thing. So that kind of freaked me out a little bit. So I had to go to the hospital for that. So that's another reason I haven't made any videos. I've been, they say that a lot of it's anxiety, so I've tried to just rule out some stuff that may have been causing anxiety, and kratom was one of them for sure. So I'm not taking kratom anymore. I know a lot of guys were wondering, like, hey, you know, is the kratom working? Is the kratom not working? And I didn't want to say yes or no until I kind of knew, like, hey, kratom doesn't work for me, which kratom doesn't work for me. It's a great, like, natural thing for people that are, you know, on painkillers and stuff like that. I feel like it'd be good for those types of people, but not something that I need to take for anxiety, because I feel like, honestly, it made it worse. Yeah, I think the kratom just wasn't really a good answer for it. So I ended up seeing a specialist for a lot of this stuff, and they pretty much prescribed me a medication called Lexapro, which is supposedly one of the more mild anxiety, depression medications to help out with like panic attacks and anxiety and depression and all that kind of shit. So I'm going to try that one out. So I'm going to try out the Lexapro, see how that works. I feel like a broken record on this stuff, but it's super hard to deal with sometimes, and trying to just get my mental clarity back and mental stability back, where I can focus on succeeding in life instead of being down all the time. It's really hard to like focus on like, hey, Hunter Toon, you should be working on more customer cars, or you should be doing, you know, getting a shop, and you know, I want to get a dyno and do all these things, but it's kind of hard to even go towards those goals when you have, you know, issues like these that kind of hold you back with doing a lot of that stuff. It's kind of hard to even explain it to a lot of people, because you know, if you don't deal with it, you can't even fathom what it's like. So it's definitely a little bit tough to deal with some days, but some days are great, some days aren't great. It's kind of life and how everything goes. That's how she goes. I'm always like super scared to try like any new medication. It's always like super hard to deal with, or like deal with trying to fix a lot of these mental issues, because, you know, some people are totally different in the fact of they can just go out and exercise and eat healthy and change their diet and all this kind of stuff, and they feel 100% better. But I feel like some people, like in my case, I'm not saying that I'm like any worse or better than anybody else, but I feel like sometimes in my case that I kind of need that extra little bit of boost to help me kind of deal with a lot of this stuff and get to a state of mind to where I can not have anxiety and stuff like that. It's super tough to deal with. I don't wish it upon my worst enemy. It's just really hard to even cope with it because taking medications involves side effects, and then the side effects could be worse than the anxiety, and then the anxiety isn't gone, and then you get off of the medication and you go through withdrawals and all this fucking bullshit. Or you can try to do self-medicating and have the same exact kind of side effects, which is what I've been noticing. I've been trying to use L-theanine, which is a good one, which I had side effects with. I had like heartburn and stuff like that. And then the kratom definitely makes it way worse for me because it's like a stimulant, and the stimulants don't go good with people with anxiety because they could, I got super bad chest pain from it. Like my heart was overworking, stuff like that. So I don't need stimulants in my life, I don't think, because stimulants are like, I don't know, like I'm already fucking high compression, I don't need nitrous or boost on top of it, because I don't got the E85 fuel to cool it down. So, you know what I mean? Like I'm just on pump gas. I don't need I'm trying to like relate this stuff to you guys so you understand, but yeah, so I don't know, I'm just trying to go day by day and work on videos and do everything, which it fucking bums me the fuck out. Last night I was super pissed because I filmed an awesome video talking about all this stuff, doing the transmission, like 30 minutes worth of really good footage, and then I go to fucking edit it and it's got no audio. And I'm like, come on. It's been like a week since I put a video up, and then I can't even, it sucks. It sucked. So hopefully this one I'm not wasting my time and all that kind of shit, but yeah. So where do we go from here? I don't know. This is the second day I've been taking this medicine. Yesterday was fucking amazing. I had a great day. I feel like the medicine did its job, and I felt really good. But this stuff takes a few weeks to like fully absorb into your body, and then you got to get used to it, and you should have side effects for the first couple weeks, and then after that you feel better or something. I don't know. So I took one yesterday and I felt good. I think I felt like really good. I had a lot of energy. I was talking to the camera. Everything was going good. Like I felt good. I had a good day yesterday. And then today I kind of feel like a bag of shit. So I don't know. I just figured I'd make this video because I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. Any video is better than no video at all. So hopefully a lot of this stuff kind of updates you guys on what we're doing. I want to go check up on the Mustang one of these days as well. And I want to do some more RC stuff on the channel. I want to get into FPV quadcopter flying too, because that stuff is super cool. If you guys haven't heard of it or looked any of it up, I highly suggest that you guys go watch some YouTube on FPV flying. It's where you wear goggles and you have a drone and you can fly it, and you are the drone inside the goggles. So it's super cool, like first person view kind of experience with RC stuff. And then I can also use the quadcopter for like shooting videos on the lake when the ice freezes, or when the lake freezes over and we take the cars out there and stuff like that. I think a quadcopter or a drone would be super cool to like capture a lot of good footage with ice racing and just being on the lake in general, because the lake is a very big place, and a drone can kind of capture the big part of the lake that you guys can't really tell on camera, like how big it actually is. Yeah, I don't know. So anyways, I'll see how this video looks. If it's worth a shit, I guess I'll throw it up for you guys, but I'm sorry that the video yesterday really fucking bummed me out that I wasn't able to get it, because Christian was over here. We were fucking joking and laughing around, and everything was great, and the video was awesome, and then poof, gone. Wasting my day. But anyways, so yeah, tomorrow or the next day I'll get all the parts for this damn thing, and I don't know, we'll see. We will see. Anyways, have a good day, guys, and hopefully this video turns out and you guys enjoy it and you're updated, and leave some suggestions down in the comments of what kind of videos you want to see, and I will talk to you in the next one.